Are Wentz's problems on himself, or is it the team as well at this point?
It's Carson Wentz. By the way, where's Orlovsky? It's Carson Wentz. Remember when Dan held up that L, guys? He took the L on Wentz.
Yeah.
People don't know in the media you actually do have influence. I believe when media enablers for Carson Wentz start admitting, okay, he's bad, that actually gives coach the cover he needs to sit him down. I'm not kidding. I think that's correlated. I don't think that's independent. Coach finally sat him down. And by the way, talk about a day late and a dollar short. I told you a month ago, sit Wentz. Hold him accountable. I told you a year ago the stuff I'm hearing coming out of Philly about Wentz changing plays and really running his offense, not Peterson's. I told you last year he was regressing. Hey, everyone, don't enable him and tell him how great he is so he doesn't have to work on anything. He's broken beyond repair. I do not believe in Carson Wentz's future. Guys, Howie Roseman had questions too. It's not that, well, Roseman drafted a quarterback and now that affects Wentz's confidence. Roseman drafted a quarterback because he knew, like, we hitched our star to this guy's wagon. I don't know. We need to do something. Spent a second-round pick. Remember, didn't trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Didn't want to give up the second-round pick. Didn't use it to trade up and get the best receiver possible. Didn't draft someone on the defense. Drafted Wentz's replacement. Now, I told you bench Wentz a month ago so that you can send a message to the team. I compared it to McNabb's benching Stephen A., which I know you remember in Philly, and he took them that season to his 5th NFC Championship game. He was held accountable. Wentz wasn't. Wentz was told how great he was. Wentz was coming out talking about that's just the way we do things around here. You want to blame that on the coach or the GM or anyone else? That's ridiculous. Stephen A., you know what I'm saying now? Forget about benching Wentz to fix him. Forget about benching Wentz to try to win the next game. I don't know if Hurts is ready or not. You have to sit Wentz necessarily for the rest of this season to see whether Jalen Hurts can be your quarterback going forward or whether you have to use your top 5 or 6 pick to draft a quarterback because Carson Wentz is over. Finished. It's over. Too much to fix at this point. I warned everybody.
Well, to kind of answer the question and go along with what Max was saying, it's definitely not all Max's fault, judging off of every game, because I've watched every single game this year throughout, and it's most definitely not because of Wentz, in my opinion. I still believe in Wentz. I still think with the right coaching, he would get a way better opportunity, and it's just there's way too many things that need to be fixed than just Wentz's play. The offensive line has been really, really, really bad this year. They're missing Dillard at left tackle, Brooks at right guard, and Johnson at right tackle. Those are 3 starting offensive linemen that are out for the year. And then Sayamalu was also a starter that was out for a majority of the year. And there's been so many different combinations of offensive linemen. It's really hard to get chemistry down. And if you watch the games, half the time Wentz doesn't even have that much time to throw. And on top of that, on top of the linemen not having time to throw, it also includes the receivers not being able to get open because half the receivers are always injured. And then you have players like Alshon Jeffrey coming back that aren't what they used to be. He came off a major injury for most of the year, and he's just not what he used to be. He's getting old, and he's injury prone, and none of the receivers can get separation, it seems like. And now Ertz is just coming back, and Goddard was injured for a while, and they need to start using Rager more, and they need to start running the ball more. That's for sure. They just signed Jordan Howard back, so I think that's a good compliment to Miles Sanders. And they still have Boston Scott, and they just got to start running the ball more. Miles Sanders is way too good of a player to not get touches. It's just insane how he doesn't get the ball. Doug Peterson needs to give up play calling. They just need the right offensive staff. It's just really getting out of hand with Peterson, and who really knows what's happening, but it's just not helping Wentz at all this season. It's just a cumulative thing, not just Carson. Yes, Carson's been playing bad. Yes, he doesn't make the right read sometimes, misses a throw, holds onto the ball too late. Obviously, he has the most interceptions. Probably, I think he leads the league in getting sacked. There is some of the times when he does hold onto the ball too long and does make the wrong throw or wrong read, and yeah, that's on him. And of course, he needs to be better, but there's also a lot of other things that need to be better, and I think the main reason is the coaching, and that's just my opinion. As for the rest of the season, I could definitely see her, at least for the next game against New Orleans, even though New Orleans has a really good defense, I think they should try and start Hurts and see how it goes. And if it goes good, then hey, you start him again and you reevaluate the future maybe. And maybe it was Wentz all along. Who knows? But if you start Hurts, you just got to start Hurts and see. Like, there's nothing to lose. They're not going to make the playoffs at this point with what's been going on in the division. With the Giants and now Washington, they're both looking way better than the Eagles. That's for sure. You're not gonna win the division. You might as well test out Hurts and start him a full game and give him a good look. It's just how it's gonna go right now. And then once the season ends, you got to reevaluate the quarterback, depending on how Hurts does. You got to reevaluate Doug's position as head coach, if he's gonna be gone or not. And honestly, I don't know right now. And also Roseman, because he has been making a ton of bad decisions as of late and never even tried to help out Wentz in the first place.
Well, first of all, I disagree with you. I don't think he's finished. I don't think it's over in terms of his career. He's 27, 28 years of age. He's got a whole career ahead of him, and I don't think he's finished. I think this has been a horrific season. I definitely think he has some blame. Where I disagree with you is when you confine it to him as opposed to the Eagles organization. You bring up the fact that, okay, they drafted his backup. Well, maybe if you went out and you got the DK Metcalfs when you could have, or an A.J. Brown or somebody of that ilk, and you gave him a multitude of weapons, maybe he would look a little bit better. Maybe if you wasn't savaged with injuries last year, maybe he would have looked a little better. Maybe just...
And what Stephen A. is saying is exactly what I've been thinking and saying. Obviously, Roseman has not been helping Wentz. I mean, they make no effort to go get receivers now, and they've been trying to play these older guys like Deshaun, who has been injured for pretty much all of the last 2 seasons now. Alshon's been hurt, and they're old at receiver with those guys, and they just need to move on. And they're starting to play Jeffrey way more than Fulgham, even though Fulgham had a really good stretch when Jeffrey was out and all the other receivers were out. Fulgham had a really good stretch. He was looking like a promising receiver. Yeah, he's made a couple drops, but he needs to get more reps in, way more than Jeffrey, that's for sure. He's got way more promise.
A little concerned about that. They try to step on those guys. No, everything's fine. Everything wasn't fine, and it's not fine now.
I'm still not fully going to agree with Max on last season, because Carson was playing pretty good for the circumstances that he was under. And maybe he was showing a little bit of regression, but it wasn't to the point where he needed to be like shamed, like Max is trying to say. And then also, just wanted to point out how Jalen does bring a spark at points, but there's still problems within the offense with the coaching and O-line that could still potentially be the problem. But Jalen does bring that spark, and it's in my opinion, Carson Wentz's, like, I guess you could say career is, I definitely don't think it's over. When he gets the right coaches, I heard Dan Orlovsky say it, I think it was on Get Up or whatever, he said with the right coaching and the right just people around him, he can definitely be fixed. And I 100% agree with that. If he were like with the Colts or something with Frank Reich, I think he would succeed way better than he is right now. It definitely, with the right coaching, right weapons around him, I 100% think Wentz could still be fixed, even though he's showing a little regression. And I think a big aspect is the mental aspect now with Hurts coming in and everything else. It's just been a whole mess this year. But I do still believe in Wentz. He could still be a top-tier quarterback in this league.